Hi everyone, it's Pastor Wagner. This is my weekly video blog. Today I want to talk about hell. It's kind of interesting how controversial this topic is given what the Bible plainly says about it, but there are plenty of people out there for whatever reason that don't like the idea of hell. Maybe because they're going there, I don't know. But anyway, I just want to show you what the Bible teaches, what the King James Bible in particular teaches about hell, and we're just going to go over some of the basics. First of all, hell is a place of torment where the souls of the wicked go immediately upon death. It says in Psalm 9 and verse 17, "The wicked shall be turned into hell and all the nations that forget God." And then Jesus taught in this account, it's not a parable, I'll get into that in just a second. In this account of two men, he taught how one of them died and immediately went to heaven, to be with where Abraham was, and one of them went to hell to be tormented in flames. This is found in Luke 16, verses 19 through 28. Jesus said, "There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment." So you see here, when the rich man died, he immediately went to hell, and he is in tormenting flames in hell. Now clearly, his body didn't go to hell yet. His body was buried. His soul went to hell, and he was in torment in his soul in the flames of hell. And Lazarus, on the other hand, is his soul and spirit are with Abraham in heaven. Now, some people, because this text is so plain, they can't deny it, they say, oh, it's a parable. It's teaching some other lesson. Like, what would the lesson be? When you die, you go to hell? But anyway, they will say it's a parable. It doesn't literally mean the guy was in hell. Well, number one, Jesus did not identify this as a parable. When you read through many of Jesus' parables, he says, hear the parable of the thus and so. He doesn't say anything like that in this text, because it's not a parable. Furthermore, it does not use any parabolic language. For instance, the kingdom of heaven is like unto. Jesus said that phrase repeatedly. When he was teaching a parable, he'd say the kingdom of heaven is like unto, and he's giving a word picture. He's telling a story, and to associate concepts. He's not doing this. He's just telling a factual account of 2 actual men who actually died, and one actually went to hell, and one actually went to heaven. He names at least one of them. He names Lazarus. He names Abraham. This is not a parable. This is an actual, factual account of what happens when you die, and I will prove this as we continue to go on through this. Hell is a place of eternal fire. Jesus said in Mark 9, 43 and 44, he said, And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having 2 hands, to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. Hell is not the grave. There are people that say hell is the grave. No, it is a place of unquenchable fire. It is not the grave. These people that teach this may wish hell was the grave because they don't want to go there. If you don't want to go there, I recommend repenting and stop denying what the scripture says. Revelation 14, 9 through 11 says, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name." These people are in hell. They will be in hell. The ones that receive the mark of the beast, they're going to be in hell, and they're going to be tormented forever and ever. They have no rest, day nor night. Hell is not the grave, and hell is not annihilation. You don't get thrown into the lake of fire and consumed in an instant. You have torment day and night forever and ever. God will destroy both the soul and the body in hell. Matthew 10 and verse 28 says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him that is God, which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." Now the soul will be destroyed in hell immediately upon death. It's not going to be annihilated, but it's certainly going to be destroyed. Like if you beat something down, you're destroying it or whatever, it's going to be tormented, certainly. And then the body will be destroyed later, after the resurrection. And that resurrection will happen on the last day. Jesus said that the hour is coming in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice, and they shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. And that resurrection will happen on the last day, Jesus said in John 11 and verse 24. And we know that the destruction of the soul happens immediately upon death, from what Jesus said in Luke 16, 22 and 23, when the rich man died and he immediately lifted up his eyes and he's in hell. Now the souls and the body, after the resurrection, of the wicked will not be annihilated, but they will be tormented in hell, and then later on in the lake of fire forever. Let me give you the verse that says it. I know people don't like this verse, but that's what it says. Jude 1:7. "Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering," that is present tense, "suffering the vengeance of eternal fire." Two things. Number one, they're suffering, and number two, it's eternal fire. It lasts forever. Now, Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed thousands of years ago, and Jude, writing this epistle hundreds and hundreds, or maybe over 1,000 years after Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, says that they are still presently suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. There is no annihilation. Hell is unending torment in flames. That's what it is. I know it's not pleasant. I don't like thinking about it, but that's what it says. If you don't like it, go get another religion. There's lots of religions without hell. Just don't claim to be a Christian. Just put down your Bible. Go become a Muslim, become a Mormon, become a Jehovah's Witness, become any number of religions. Become a Buddhist or a Hindu or whatever you want to do, but just don't call yourself Christian anymore. That's all. Revelation 20 and verse 10 says, "And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever." See, it lasts forever. There's no annihilation. And this same place where the devil and his angels are going to be cast, the wicked are going to be cast into the same place. Revelation 20 and verse 15. It says, "And whosoever was not found in the book of, or whosoever was not written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire, where they will burn forever and ever." No annihilation. Now, whenever people talk about hell and they use the King James Bible, then some wise guy will say, but that word hell is actually translated from three words. It's translated from the Hebrew Sheol, and it's translated from the Greek Hades and Gehenna, and those words all mean different things, and hell really means the grave, and da-da-da, and all these silly arguments from languages that those people do not understand. So here's the deal. If you bring up an argument to me from the Hebrew or the Greek based on hell being translated from those words, and you try to explain away hell using the Hebrew or the Greek, that argument is inadmissible. It will not be heard by me. It will be ignored unless you speak Hebrew and Greek fluently. And when I say fluently, I don't mean you get out a Strong's Concordance and look up some Hebrew or Greek word. Any idiot can do that. I can pull up a Chinese dictionary and start schooling you on Chinese, not knowing anything about it. That is foolishness. So unless you can speak Hebrew and Greek fluently as the King James translators, your arguments from Hebrew and Greek, from languages that you do not understand, they're immaterial. They are inconsequential, and they are inadmissible, and I will pay no attention to them whatsoever, because I don't take arguments from people who don't know what they're talking about. Now, if you think you know what you're talking about, if you think that you know Hebrew and Greek fluently, I've got a little test for you. I want you to go over to the Minneapolis Church website. Go to minneapolischurch.net/Greek, and I've got a little test for you there. Take the little test. It'll only take you a couple of minutes. If you pass that test, and like I said, it should only take you about a minute. If you pass that test, then and only then can you come back to me and start telling me about what this Hebrew and this Greek word means, and how hell doesn't really mean hell, and it's not an eternal place of eternal fire and judgment and so on, or whatever. The thing is, 99.999% of you are not going to pass that test, because the vast majority of you out there, and probably every one of you listening to this, do not speak Hebrew or Greek fluently. Strong's Concordances don't count, remember. So, go over there to minneapolischurch.net/Greek, take the test. If you don't pass the test, I don't want to hear one word about Hebrew or Greek from anybody. And what the King James Bible says about hell stands. It's an eternal place of fire and torment where the wicked will go to be tormented forever and ever. And if you don't like it, well, go become a different religion then. That's fine. But don't try to malign God's religion and God's Bible and change it into something that it is not. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again next week, Lord willing.